Chapter 4 from the Absent Author. Mr. Paskey shooed them out of the book nook and locked the front door. "I have to eat lunch," he said. He scurried down Main Street. "Come on," Dink said. "There's a phone in Ellies Diner." "Good, we can eat while we're calling." Josh stopped. "Who are you calling?" "The airport," Dink said, "to see if Wallace was on that 7 o'clock flight last night." They walked into Ellies Diner just as Jimmy Fallon and his grandfather came out. Jimmy was working on triple-decker chocolate cone. Ellie stood behind the counter. As usual, her apron was smeared with ketchup, mustard, chocolate, and a lot of stuff Dink didn't recognize. Ellie smiled. "Hi, Dink. Butter crunch, right?" Dink shook his head. "No, thanks, Ellie. I came to use the phone." "Excuse me, but would it be all right if I bought you each a cone?" Mavis Green asked. "I was going to buy lunch for Mr. Wallace anyway." "Gee, thanks," Josh said. "I'll have a scoop of mint chip and a scoop of pistachio." "Oh, you like green ice cream too?" Mavis said. She smiled shyly. I'll have the same, please." "I like pink ice cream," Ruth Rose said. "I'll have a strawberry cone, please. 1 scoop." "How about you, Dink?" Mavis asked. "I'm not hungry, thanks," he said. "But you guys go ahead. I'm going to call the airport." Dink felt guilty. He hadn't invited Wallace to Green Lawn. His favorite author would be safe at home in his castle in Maine. But Dink couldn't help feeling excited too. He felt like a detective from one of Wallace's books. Dink stepped into the phone booth, looked up the phone number for New England Airlines, and called. When a voice came on, he asked if Wallace had been on flight 3132 last night. He was? "Did it land at 7 o'clock, Dink asked. "Thanks a lot." He rushed out of the phone booth. "Hey guys, they told me Wallace was on the plane, and it landed right on time." "So he didn't miss his flight," Ruth Rose said through his strawberry pink lips. "That's right." Dink pulled out the itinerary. He drew a line through airport. "This is so exciting," Ruth Rose said. "Now what?" Josh asked, working on his double dipper. Dink pointed to his next circle in their itinerary. "Now we need to find out if the taxi picked him up," he said. "Lawrence taxi is over by the river," Ruth Rose said. Dink looked at Mavis. "Would you like to come with us? We can walk there in 5 minutes." Mavis Green wiped her lips carefully with a napkin. "I'd love to come," she said in her soft voice. They left Ellies Diner, walked left on the bridge lane, then headed down Woodview Road towards the river. "Mr. Paskey looked pretty upset, didn't he?" Josh said, crunching the last of his cone. His chin was green. "Wouldn't you be upset if you had a bunch of customers at your store waiting to meet a famous author and he didn't show up?" Ruth Rose asked. "Yeah, but he was sweating buckets," Josh said. "I wonder if Mr. Paskey kidnapped Wallace." "Josh, get real. Why would Mr. Paskey kidnap an author?" asked Ruth Rose. "He sells tons of Wallace's books." "I don't think Mr. Paskey is the kidnapper," Dink said. "But in a way, Josh is right. Detectives should consider everyone a suspect, just like the way they do in Wallace's books." At River Road, they turned left. 2 minutes later, Dink pushed open the door of the Lawrence Taxi Service office. He asked the man behind the counter if one of their drivers met Flight 3132 at Bradley Airport the previous night. The man ran his finger down a list on the clipboard. "That would be Maureen Higgins. She's out back eating her lunch," he said, pointing over his shoulder. "Walk straight through." They cut through the building to a grassy area and back. Through the trees, Dink could see the Indian River. The sun reflected off the water like a bright coin. A woman was sitting at the picnic table, eating a sandwich, filling in a crossword puzzle. "Excuse me, are you Maureen Higgins?" Dink asked. The woman shook her head without looking up. "Nope, I'm Marilyn Monroe." The woman wrote in another letter, then looked up. She had merriest blue eyes Dink had ever seen. Yeah, cutie pie, I'm Maureen. She pointed her sandwich at Dink. And who might you be? I'm Dink Duncan, he said. These are my friends Josh, Ruth Rose, and Mavis. We wondered if you could help us, Ruth Rose said. Maureen stared at them. How? Did you pick up a man named Wallace Wallace at the airport last night? Dink asked. Maureen squinted one of her blue eyes. Why do you want to know? Because he's missing, said Josh. Well, I sure ain't got him. Maureen took a bite out of her sandwich. Mayonnaise oozed into her fingers. I know. I mean, we didn't think you had him, Dink said, but did you pick him up? Maureen nodded, swallowing. Sure, I picked him up. 7 o'clock sharp. I was there with my sign saying Wallace. The guy spots me, trots over. I take him out to my taxi. He climbs in, carrying a small suitcase. Kind of spooky guy. Dressed in a hat, long raincoat, sunglasses. Sunglasses at night. Doesn't speak a word. Just sits. Spooky. Did you take him to the Shangri-La Hotel? Dink asked. Yep, those were my orders. Guy didn't give directions, but it'd kind of be nice if he'd said something. Pass the time, you know. A lot of people, they chat just to act friendly. Not this one. Quiet as a mouse in the back seat. Maureen wiped mayonnaise from her fingers and lips. Who is this Wallace fella anyway? He's a famous writer, Ruth Rose said. Maureen's mouth fell open. You mean I had a celebrity in my cab and never knew it? What happened when you got to the hotel? Josh asked. Maureen stood up, tossed her napkin into the trash. I get out of my side, then I open his door. He hops out, hands me a 20. Last I seen, he's scooting into the lobby. Dink pulled out the itinerary, crossed out taxi with a thick black line. Then he drew a question mark next to the hotel. Thanks a lot, Miss Higgins, he said. Come on, guys, I have a feeling we're getting closer to finding Wallace Wallace. Maureen put her hand on Dink's arm. I just thought of something, she said. When he handed me my fare, this Wallace fellow was smiling. Dink stared at Maureen. Smiling? She nodded. Yep. Had a silly grin on his face, like he knew some big secret or something.